Hi everyone, my name is Rojane Gabriel and my teammate's name is Sylvie Staiku, and we were mentored by Professor Caesar Kostopi. The poster in front of you will talk about why one is always running low on funds living in New York City. After our recording, Sylvie and I will do our best to answer any and all of your questions. Some of you may not know this, but poverty is defined as a state of not having enough material possession or income for basic living needs. Moreover, to conduct our research, we used data from the New York City Open Data website, as there was an exuberant amount of raw data that we could use to analyze using CPSS software to convert eventually. According to data from the New York City Open Data, we found that poverty had fallen from 17.3% in 2018 to 16% in 2019. This is the fifth consecutive year of declining poverty in the city. In 2019, 1.3 million New Yorkers lived at or below official federal poverty levels, about 117,000 fewer people than the year before. From the variables that you see listed on the poster, I analyzed for sex, borough, and citizenship status for the years of 2018 and 2019. From the data that we saw, we were able to make some comparisons and saw how they differentiated from one another over time. For example, when we examined the variable in our dataset called borough, we found that being situated in the Staten Island district in 2018 had a positive effect in the probability of being considered poor in relation to living there in the following year of 2019. As we saw a negative 0.049 figure point for Staten Island, which is less likelihood of being near to the poverty line. However, that changes drastically the following year, as there was an increase of being nearer to the poverty line, with data showing a positive 0.017 figure. Likewise with the Bronx, which was a positive 0.043 figure of being nearer to the poverty line and only showed levels of increasing the following year, with it rising to positive 0.0117. This could be attributed to several factors, such as the climbing rates of divorce, lack of jobs, and the pay disparity between men and women. Also, for our variable sex, there was a correlation between being a woman and poor, as in 2018 there was a figure of positive 0.002, which put women as being closer to the poverty line, but the following year figure of positive 0.001, which shifted, so it meant that women were less likely to be poor being a woman in the year of 2019. This could be attributed to several factors, such as maybe jobs opening up that year, increase in salary or combined incomes with a partner, or other such conclusions. Moreover, my teammate Sylvie will take on from here and continue to elaborate.
Push us closer or further from the poverty line. This way, we can understand how to prevent the population from getting close to it. For the marital status, we divided it into various categories, such as single, divorced, separated, widowed, married, and never married. We were on regression with the possibility of whether an individual might be poor or not. Between the years 2018 and 2019, these variables were more or less consistent in change. However, being married or widowed helped move you further from the poverty line, whereas being single, divorced, or separated increases your chances of being poor. By analyzing the employment status of an individual in New York City, we can observe that working part-time and not working increased their chances of being poor in both years, where the effect was stronger from one year to the next. When examining education levels, we looked at how having less than high school education, some college and bachelor's and higher education correlated to poverty. According to the changing years, high school education alone is starting to make an impact, pushing you further from the poverty line, changing from a positive effect of 0.035 in 2018 to a 0.024 in 2019. While race might be a sensitive topic to talk about, I believe that it is crucial that we talk about it. We examined the variables white, black, Hispanic, Asian, and other races categories for the race or ethnicity of both years. The variable that had the most change was the other race category, one since in comparison to white, black, Hispanic, or Asian had a positive effect on poverty in 2018, being negative 0.012, lowering the probability of being poor, to increasing those chances in 2019, turning a positive 0.008. Another variable that changed for the better regarding that was of the Hispanic variable, changing from 0.052 to 0.048, showing that in comparison to 2018, in the year 2019, being Hispanic meant that you were a little further from the poverty line. For the last part of my presentation, I'd like to mention the conclusions that we reached. According to the conducted data analysis, having attended some college has increased the chances of you being poorer from 2018 to 2019. This could have been the result of college rates going higher every year and student debt still being a huge factor to obtaining an education in the United States. Also, we found out that being Black continues to have an increased probability of being closer to the poverty line associated with it. We also found out that being Asian meant that you were further from the poverty line in 2019 as to compared in 2018. However, for both variables, it will be very interesting to see the change in the following years because of the recent developments of the Black Lives Matter movement and the rise of racism and xenophobia towards the Asian community because of the COVID crisis. We can safely assume that the reason for marriage being a key factor to combating poverty is having two income sources.